All right, hopefully I'm live right now. I did press the wrong button before, so I just redid it real quickly. Let me know in the comments if I'm here, if you guys can see me, hear me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you are. I'm just reading some comments, waiting for just anybody. Let me know that you can see and hear me so that I'm not talking to myself, which I have done before in the past. FV702, where is George? Steve, live. Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Jay Duff. All right, so I'm live. George is surfing. So George's son is done with school. So they went to Miami to do some surfing thing today. So I'm doubtful he will be able to call in. He has an invite and he can, it's not, I don't think they're surfing at the beach. I think they're surfing at some kind of facility where you can, they create I don't know. It's like an indoor surfing facility, as far as I know. Anyway, that's where George is. Welcome, everybody. First, before I get started, thank you, Michael Johnson. Celebrate the first super chat from Michael Johnson. Thank you very much for the super chat. Did you have a question, Michael? Oh, let's see. Bitfarms has asked shareholders for the right to have a reverse split at 10-1. Vote is on May 24th. So that's from Michael Johnson. I see that, and the timing is weird, and I'm pretty conflicted on that. I want to take a poll on that one before I give you my opinion, because I am definitely conflicted on that, on which way to answer on that. Miguel, we need the live stream pump to send Bitcoin to 30,000 plus. Yes, let's have a pump today like we did yesterday, but then it kind of evaporated on us later in the day, but we're kind of back, and we are above. We're above the magic line here, 28.8. So, and you can see, this has been pretty much support for, all day. This was 10, 12 hours ago. So, yeah, more. So it's been support for quite some time now. Hopefully that will hold. If everybody could please smash the like button. It helps the live stream while we are live. If you smash the like button, it helps spread the live stream to more people, shows it to more people, and we get a bigger group. So I appreciate that. If you're not a member, you can become a member. If you're not a subscriber, you can become a subscriber. So subscribe, like, join. Thanks for all the members. I see a bunch of members on the stream right now. Edmund, Steven, Raven, Samuel, Miguel, Sourmelon Gaming, Darren, Chuck, Mr. J, FV702, Gary. If I missed your name, Ricky, His Honor. If I missed your name, sorry. Welcome to all the members, and welcome to everybody. Thank you. I also see a lot of other familiar names. Cosmic Contrarian, welcome. I'll try to catch up in the chat here and see what people want to talk about, but I do want to talk about that potential reverse split for Bitfarms and see what you guys think. Edmund first. Let's see. Edmund said Wolf's consolidating in the $1.53 to $1.62 range for 4 to 5 days. RSI is 71 and MACD is neutral. Stock price may pause until Bitcoin starts moving and/or April report due 7 to 12 days from now is as good as expected. Have a good live stream. I'll miss it. Live stream as conflicts with Atlanta Braves game. All right. Well, thank you, Edmund. Enjoy the Atlanta Braves game if you're still here. If you're already watching, then enjoy. Let's see. All right. Sourmelon Gaming. pre-stream poll. Will Captain George be joining us today? Yes or no? The answer to that is almost certainly no. I did send him an invite, an invite, and I've talked to him a couple times this morning, but I think that thing they're doing with the surfing is like once you're in, I think you're in. So that's my best guess. He's not gonna make it. Hello, Chuck. Mr. J, Riot to the moon. Let's hope. Sourmelon Gaming, I'd like your thoughts on the potential 10-to-1 reverse split on Bitfarms. So, since they're putting it to a vote, let's us put it to a vote. I don't know what. Hopefully you guys can still see me. I just did something. Ah, there we go. Just regrouping for a moment. There we go. All right. Huh. End poll. I didn't actually do a poll, so. Okay, are you in favor of a reverse stock split for Bitfarms? And it authorizes them to do up to 10-to-1. So I think the way I read that is they can do up to 10-to-1, and it just authorizes them to do so. Doesn't mean they're actually going to do it. Doesn't mean they're going to do it at 10-to-1 right now. But right now it's just giving the board of directors the authority to do a reverse stock split at their discretion, at the time of their choosing. Okay, so I'm going to post this. So, are you in favor of a reverse stock split for Bitfarms? And really what I should have said, are you in favor of what they're proposing right now, which is to give the board the authority to do up to 1-to-10 reverse stock split? I know there are some people in favor of this. I've read some arguments for, I've read some arguments against. I'll let you know once we get a poll in. I'll let you know what my thoughts are on this. It's a weird. These reverse splits are very strange things. If everybody could please smash the like button if you have not already, I would appreciate it. It helps the live stream a lot. We got 32 likes. We usually try to get 100, and that gets us where we're going on our live stream. Thanks again to Michael Johnson for the super chat. Much appreciated. And thanks to all the members who are joining us. All right, let's see. Ah, crypto golfers in Vero Beach. Gary, they call it surfing. He'll be on the stream tomorrow for sure. If he doesn't make it on the stream today, which I really doubt he's going to, I'll let him explain what it is. It's surfing, but it's not surfing. You know, like going to like Top Golf is golfing, but it's not really golfing. Cosmic Contrarian reverse splits generally don't work out for the current shareholders. The shares sell off after a reverse split, penalizing holders. So we'll definitely talk about that. That is oftentimes the case. It is sometimes not the case, but I would say more often than not, there's a knee-jerk negative reaction to a reverse split. A lot of it, you know, depends on the reverse split. Some of it gets very psychological, and, you know, it's not necessarily got anything to do with logic. Hello, Hydro BTC. proud of my Bitfarms bags. Well, I'm right there with you. I'm holding stock. I'm holding options. Let's see. Darren, what are you telling me here? Glad I had conviction. FSR. Are they turning it around today? This is FRC. Oh, Fisker had a big day yesterday. They're having a big day today? Right? Didn't they also have a... Or was that after hours? Let me take a look. Historical data. Yeah, 450 to 490, and then from $4.90 yesterday they jumped to $5.98, and now today they're at $6.38. So that's an EV play. That's one of the ones I'm with you, Darren. I'm a big fan. Or let's say I'm optimistic about Fisker. Maybe big fan might be going too far. But I am optimistic about Fisker versus a lot of the other ones that I think are disasters either waiting to happen or already happening. So if there's a reverse split and you have options, they should do proportionally. You know, if you have 10 options. Now, if you have one and it's a reverse split, I don't know what happens to that. It'll still be, no, I'm sorry. It'll still be one. It'll just be it will change the strike point. Right. That's the way I've seen that done before. So let's say Bitfarms was $1. They do a reverse split to $10. You had an option at $1. You'll now have one option at $10. Yeah, I don't like holding options during a reverse split. I don't like the knee-jerk reactions to reverse splits. Let's see how this poll is going. Are we getting participation? We got 34 votes. I'll wait, but it looks like we can see which direction the poll is going in, which I think everybody would have suspected. Steve said, I vote no. Hello, Marco. Sorry, just catching up, guys. Jeff, welcome to the stream. And Jeff's also asking, what happens to the options if held through the split? So that's what's happened to me in the past. It just proportionally goes to, you know, you have the same number of options. The strike point changes in proportion to the split. Jeff wants to know, is Bitcoin drunk? Let me get back to the Bitcoin chart. The only thing I'll tell you right now is that, like, this was 14 or 15 hours ago. So this has held strong. So you guys, to me, you know, this line's been on my chart forever. This is a very, very strong line, in my opinion, and we dipped below it. You know, I think we had some, obviously, I did read, actually. We had liquidations in both directions. The shorts got caught, and we ran up. Then the longs got immediately caught, and we ran back down. And then you can see we kind of ended back up, maybe, you know, we still ended up above this 28.8. This was a nice move up because, you know, we were down testing 27 for this whole period of time right here. So we moved back up to, if you go all the way back here to where we were right here. So, you know, we may be, let me get on a larger time frame so we can see this better. And I'll get rid of this arrow. So yeah, even on the 4-hour time frame, you can see we had a couple where I think shorts were getting liquidated, and then we had one 4-hour where the longs got decimated. So a lot of people lost in both directions, which I think is how that oftentimes goes. And then we ran back up, and now, so this 4-hour candle closed over 28.8, and we have 1, 2, 3 more that have already closed, and a fourth one that we're in the middle of. So, if we can reestablish this line, I think that would be a good step one. This was a little bit of a sideways week, but for the Bitcoin miners, I mean, if you look at what's going on, well, it's turning a little bit of both, but I still think it's more green than red. So Bitfarms is up 2%, Hut's up a little, Hive's down a little, CleanSpark 1%, Riot's almost, it's green, but it's almost at zero. Marathon's down 1%, Cypher's down 1%, Iris Energy's down 3%, BitDigital's even. So there's no, let's see, Any is up 6.5%. That's the only, I'll call it significant, and even just compared to yesterday, it's really not very significant, but it's the only thing that's not a, 0 or 1 or 2% move in either direction. Iris, I guess, is 3% to the downside, but a very mellow day. I'm totally fine with this type of day. We lost ground yesterday, and once you lose one of these lines, if you don't get it right back, you could be in for a long haul. So every time we dip below this, I start to put 25.2 back on the radar, thinking, is that what's next? But we did have a very quick recovery, so I think that's optimistic. We'll look at some of the technicals. I'm gonna end this 1 minute. I'll give the poll 1 minute. Anybody who hasn't voted, you can vote in the poll. It's actually getting a little closer, but it's fairly decisive. Raymond is saying 15 minutes is way too short term. As that was because I was looking on the 15-minute time frame. So yeah, on the 4-hour time frame, I mean, even the 4 hours, pretty short time frame, but you can see we're definitely trending in the right direction. So, we did take this dip. This is the 1 day. So this week was a little bit of a journey. We had this whole dip here, and then we had a spike, and then we pulled right back, but we recovered this. So yeah, but having said that, I think for the Bitcoin miners, when I do my weekend update and show what every Bitcoin miner has done for the week, I think it's been a decent week for the Bitcoin miners all in all. I feel I'm definitely up this week. So I guess it depends on which miners you have, but in general, for the larger ones have done just fine this week. I always point out the big two are Riot and Marathon. Like them or hate them, whatever you want. Those are by far the two biggest market caps. Cypher is the third largest by market cap, but it's significantly smaller than these two. And then I think Hut is fourth. And then a lot of them are kind of in the same neck of the woods, like right after that. Yeah, I do look at the 15-minute throughout the day just to see which way we're trending. But, I mean, yeah, when you start, if you want to look at the technicals, I don't look at any of the technicals on the 15 minutes or the 5 minutes or any of that. I'm not a scalping or day trading. Gary is saying, those who want to buy an extreme discount will be in favor. Reverse split will crash the price, at least short term, so sucks for current shareholders. Look what happened to Hive. So Hive's a perfect example, and if you track Hive, since they did their reverse split, they're performing just a little bit better than the average of all their peers. So, over the course of time, that reverse split did not hurt them. But, to Gary's point, sometimes in the first day or week or even month, the stock gets beat up for that reason because it's just perceived that there's a lot more room to the down. It makes no sense. but this is all about perception. It's not about logic. So the market cap does not, as you guys know, and I'll just explain for those who don't, but I know that most of you completely understand this. On a reverse stock split, if they do a 1 to 10 reverse split, they're going to have 1/10 the number of shares. So if they have 200 million shares outstanding, they're going to go down to 20 million shares outstanding. So when you look at that side of the equation, that's a very healthy thing. However, they're going to go from a $1 stock, which investors perceive as a small cap, lots of room to the upside, just because it's $1, or 70 cents or $1 or $1.20. But when the exact same stock under the exact same market cap and formula is at $10, all of a sudden, people perceive there's room. Hey, maybe we can push this down to 9 or 8 or 7 or 6 or 5. It just seems like there's a lot more room to the downside, even though mathematically it's all identical. So a lot of times it does play out that way for a few weeks, irrationally, in my opinion. Now, the other piece to keep in mind is a lot of companies that do reverse stock splits, it's their last desperate act as a company to try to survive. So if you look at the overall statistics, they are skewed. So you need to look in the Bitcoin miners instances. Hive did not do that to avoid going out of existence. Bitfarms has just done their 10 days. They're back in compliance with the NASDAQ. So they're not doing this because they're in trouble. They're not having a liquidity problem. They're cash flow positive. They would just be doing this, to decrease their outstanding float and to increase the price of their stock. But a lot of people just have in mind, the immediate association for a lot of people is reverse stock split, they're going out of business. There's really no other reason to do a reverse stock split. So that association is huge, and it does. So that's why I'm conflicted. So for that reason, I'll end the poll. We've got a lot of votes, and we're basically 3/4 to 1/4. 76% say no reverse stock split. 24% say yes. So, that's a healthy amount of yes. And I talked about some of the benefits, and drop in the chat what you think some of the other benefits are. But I do think, reducing the outstanding float is in the big picture, in the long term, I think that's probably a very good thing. But I do think, you stand a chance of getting whacked, and especially, I'm biased. I am an option holder right now, and I think my options are an awful lot less likely to pay off if they do a reverse stock split. So because they're short term, and so that's my bias. So for that reason, I would vote no. But I understand both sides. So I'm going to close. It's now 78% to 22%, and also George has now, he's in the chat. Hi, everyone. I'm at the beach. All right, so I gave him a little update, George, that you were, I thought, maybe going to that surfing thing. But it sounds like you're actually at the beach. So I hope you're enjoying the beach, to you and the family. Jeff said, down to 20 million shares, then sell another 80 million shares at the market. So, obviously you can be worried about that, but I don't, then they would have sold another 800 million shares. If they're gonna dilute, they're gonna dilute. And they will do some of that, but they're a cash flow positive company right now. Their cost per coin is very good. They're a much, much, much healthier company than they were 6 months ago, 8 months ago. So, in my personal opinion, they've drastically improved their financial position. So if this is the final piece of that puzzle that they want to do, it might be that their stock suffers in the short term because of it. So, again, and because I have options, that would bum me out. Those are options that aren't going to, they won't get where they're going if there's a reverse split in the middle. It may be good for the stock in the long term, but you can almost bet in the short term it's always rough. Steve is saying, Tom, can we do a poll on if you're a buy or hold trader or a swing trader? Normally, I buy and hold in this sector. I've switched to swing trading. Jeff convinced me, and I'm doing well. And Jeff is saying, by the way, to George, come to the North Jersey Shore, I think is what you're saying. Best beaches on the East Coast. Jeff, I think he's at Miami Beach right now if he's at a beach. So it's a long journey. And I don't really think it's that time of year yet. Is it? Someone Gaming Bitfarms wants to dilute. That's why they want the reverse split. 100% confident of that. That's from Sour Melon Gaming. Jeff saying medium to long swings. And I know, Jeff, you do some leaps also. Buy and hold, trade the volatility on the miners. That's what Jeff's saying. So George is saying you can sell the stocks you buy. Rick saying, I agree with Sour Melon about the dilution. So, I mean, all these companies are going to do some dilution. That's just the way it is, right? I mean, Bitfarms, you have to ask yourself. So if you're, and you can fill in the blank. My Bitcoin mining company stock X, whether it's Bitfarms or Riot or Iris Energy, whatever it is. They're at a certain exahash right now. The halving is next year. Do you want them to grow their exahash? So if you want them to grow, I mean, there's three ways that you can grow. You can fund it from operations, right? If you're cash flow positive from operations, you can fund growth that way. Now, a lot of these companies are now cash flow positive from operations, but is it enough cash to fund the amount of growth that you hope your company is going to do? Number two, they can get debt. Well, I can tell you right now from my personal perspective, so let me know in the chat if you disagree, but I think it's going to be a long, long, long time before any of the Bitcoin miners go out and get any meaningful amount of debt. You know, convertible debt is a little bit different. Convertible debt not due for 2 or 3 or 4 years at a low interest rate is different than borrowing money to buy Bitcoin mining machines, you know, that money that's due in 24 months or 36 months. I believe this industry has learned its lesson that that is a formula for absolute disaster. So debt being off the table, if operations is not providing enough to fund growth, how else are you going to grow? You're going to have to issue shares of stock. So then you have to hope, is management, you know, are they going to do that diligently, and are they going to do that judiciously in a way where they're you know, the dilution that they do, they're getting a good deal and they're getting machines at a good price. They're getting either infrastructure or however they set that up at so that they're a bigger, better company, right? If you borrow $100 million and you get your $100 million worth, and I shouldn't say borrow. If you dilute $100 million, but you put that $100 million to work in a way that's highly productive, that's accretive, if you will, then your company should be worth more. So, you know, it's a tough call. I know in the perfect world, you know, all these guys would just make a lot of money and they wouldn't have to bring on any debt or they wouldn't have to dilute. But across the board, these companies are diluting. All right, let me catch up. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, it would be much appreciated. It helps the live stream a lot. We got 46. We're trying to get to 100. The other day, we thought we did not get to 100. George, if you're still listening, we did end up getting to 100. Like, I don't know what happened. It must have been at the very last second. But when I look back, we ended up with over 100 likes. So thanks to everybody who smashed the like button. Okay, Riot and Marathon both diluted in 2020 and 2021. It helped them. That was from MinerDoc. Yeah, I mean, massive, massive, massive dilution from Riot and Marathon. Now, also, they did so. Some of their dilution was at a really great stock price for them. So, you know, that goes both ways. But yes, tell me a company that hasn't done a lot of dilution. And do you want your Bitcoin mining company to go into the halving and be on the other side of the halving at 3 or 4 exahash? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Or, you know, do you want them to get, because the big companies, we know Marathon's targeting 23. We know, you know, CleanSpark's targeting 16. We know Riot's targeting 12.5, but really they have another gigawatt factory that they plan on building past that, so they're targeting something in the mid-20s ultimately. They just haven't announced all of that yet. So those are the big players. There's some other players. Press release yesterday out of HUT, by the way, they've got a new exahash target of 7.2 exahash. So that would be if the merger goes through. So that's still by no means a done deal. It's been approved by nobody yet. But, you know, they did put out that press release and give a little update yesterday. Cosmic Contrarian, banks are not extending credit. It will be a long time before that changes. And, I mean, I wouldn't lend them the money if I was the bank, and I wouldn't borrow it if I was the Bitcoin miner. It did not go well, and they lent those banks. They were, all parties were greedy, lending somebody, you know, for equipment, giving somebody a 24-month loan. You're banking on the fact that, you know, if those lenders that did that were banking on the fact that Bitcoin was going to the moon, because that was the only scenario to be able to pay back a loan in 24 months. I mean, you might, what's the point of a 24-month loan? You know, you're starting to pay it back in the first month. And, you know, it ran over all these companies. So, you know, having said that, the sentiment was sky high. Everybody was talking about Bitcoin 100,000, 140,000, et cetera, et cetera. So that's when that was the environment when these loans were given out. They were high-risk loans. They did not go well. So I think on both sides, you're right. They're likely to probably not engage in that activity for some time now. Sourmelon Gaming saying 7.02 exahash for HUT. Thank you. And Fable, if I pronounced that wrong, sorry, said HUT announced 7 exahash projection from merger. So, right, so we need to know, is the merger happening? Gary said Hive did their 5-to-1 split, stating they wanted to bring the price over $5 to get institutional investors. They crashed before the split and haven't reached $5. Didn't accomplish the major reason that they split. So that's right. They picked a very, very, very bad time to do that. It was poor timing. Once they were doing it, they ended up doing it anyway. But you're right. They would have been like $6.25 the day they had voted on the split. But by the time it got implemented, I don't know that they ever even spent a single day over $5. Maybe a day or two here or there. But immediately they were under $5. And that $5 mark, I know there's a lot of, you know, institutional investors that won't invest in stocks under $5. So that was their stated line of reasoning, and, you know, it never even happened for them. So, but having said that, their stock has been competitive with all the other Bitcoin mining stocks. They've done a little bit better than average. So they're just about average, you know, since the split versus all the other stocks. But the first, you know, couple weeks was no good. Cosmic Contrarian said Tom is 100% correct. Thank you. I don't know about what, but you can clarify if you want. Oh, George is saying, FYI, I'm still in CleanSpark. So George did buy CleanSpark. George, for your information, if you don't have your, well, you must have your phone, but your CleanSpark is still in the green today. It's up 1.18%. Everything is very, very small movements today. We have one, Any is up 6.5%. Iris is down 5.4%. Almost everything else is just, you know, very, very, for Bitcoin miners, very small moves. 0.5%, 1%, 2%. Bitfarms up 3%. You know, that's so a fairly steady day. And the thing is, it really shouldn't be a steady day, because if you look at two things, this is where, so for those of you sick of hearing it, this is for those of you who are new. There's an orange line where Bitcoin was when the U.S. equity markets closed yesterday. So Bitcoin was at $27,894 when the equity markets closed yesterday. And remember, that's what this price action is off of for these Bitcoin miners. So Bitcoin is actually up. Bitcoin's up 4% today. On top of that, the Nasdaq's up 1.89%. So Bitcoin's way up, the Nasdaq's way up, the S&P's up 1.3%. Like, we're green everywhere. So I guess from that perspective, I guess you would have to say the Bitcoin miners are underperforming today. I would think they would be up. Now, they had nice runs up yesterday, but it wasn't disproportionate. Well, but you know, this crash was at the end of the day. You can see in the last hour of the day, Bitcoin crashed, and the Bitcoin miners, some of them did hold on to some of their gains that they had, and they didn't take this crash in that hour. So, you know, maybe that's what's balancing things out a little bit. All right, we have a request for a poll, the Bitcoin price year end. So let's do a poll, and I'm just going to change that just a little bit. I'm going to say, what's the Bitcoin high for 2023? So not necessarily what's going to be on December 31st, 2023, but what's going to be the high for the year. And we know the answer has to be at least 31,000 because it's already done that. Sorry, almost done typing. All right. Let's change this one number. Okay, so new poll. Bitcoin high for 2023. So again, the high, what's the highest? What's it going to peak at this year? 31,000, which it's already done. So, you know, if you think it's not going any higher, then you would pick 31,000. 38,000, 48,000, or 60,000 or more. So what's everybody thinking? So if you're in between the range, you know, round up or round down based on where you think it's going. Meanwhile, if anybody can please smash the like button. I appreciate those who have. We have 57 likes. If we can get to 100, it helps out a lot. So thank you very much. Also, thanks to all of the members. I see a lot of members on the stream today, so appreciate your support. Uh-oh, Edmund is back. I'm back. Braves game 0-0 after 3. Rain delay. All right, Edmund, we see the order of importance. The Braves, then your portfolio. Nothing comes before the Braves. You guys had years and years where I feel like you ended up winning one World Series, but it felt like, you know, that felt like a streak. I'm talking back in the 90s, I guess. Seemed like a streak where you guys won everything. And your pitching rotation, well, you could probably name them. That was absolutely unbelievable. Hall of Famers, all of them. Sidetracked. A little baseball nostalgia. Is it mathematically possible for Bitcoin to go to zero? For the supply to go to zero or for the price to go to zero? And I guess, theoretically, they are both mathematically possible. If the network is completely abandoned and the worldwide exahash rate goes to zero and people trade it down to zero, I mean, maybe is it going to be worth 1/100th of a penny? That's in the, and I don't foresee any of those scenarios. So I think the realistic answer to that is I don't think any of those scenarios are realistic. But in the event of a catastrophic failure, Bitcoin could certainly approach zero, if not go to zero. And theoretically, the supply could go to zero if every single, ultimately over the next 100 years, one at a time, every single Bitcoin got lost. So all of those things are mind-bogglingly unlikely scenarios, but not impossible. Eric is saying, I'd be happy with 40K. Let's see. Oh, I did want to take a look at, there was a couple of things. First, I'm going to look at Meta. I guess I got to call them Meta now. Facebook, as well as their other properties. I mean, this is a huge, huge move to the upside. And I regret, hindsight's 20/20. But when Meta was under, this is a stock that I thought was unbelievably overvalued. I mean, unbelievably overvalued. But they pulled back in price. They were at one point, this was a $379 stock. And so there, it just didn't make any sense to me. But, they got down to, you can see their 52-week low is $88. Well, they're coming up on a triple from that. They're at $240 right now. So, and it's in a pretty short period of time because that was back in October. So from October to now, this stock's gone from $88 to $240. It's up 15% today, which for a company, this is a $600 billion company. By the way, this was once a $1 trillion company, and I think there have only been 6 of these ever in the history of all markets. This was one of them. I don't know that it'll get back there, and that's when I felt that it was overvalued. When this hit $1 trillion, to me, I was scratching my head a little, and then they came out and did all this, the Mark Zuckerberg video, etc., and, they fell massively, but I think a lot of people made an awful lot of money on this trade. I'm not one of them. So that's one I just got to look at and kick myself. And the other thing is Microsoft reported positive earnings. So they're up 2.5% today, but they were up over 7% yesterday. And if you do the math, that was one of the biggest up days of any company in the history of the entire stock market because Microsoft's over a $2 trillion market cap company. So when they're up 7%, that was around a $130 billion move in one day. So that's more than almost every single market cap of every single company in every market across the whole world. So, and that's how much they increased just yesterday. So that, that's one of the, and probably, I would say probably 20 of the top 20 biggest trading days for any stock has all happened in the last 5 years because we've had moves like this, but it is not normal. I mean, the biggest company in the world not so long ago was $400 billion. You could not have a $130 billion move in one day when almost no companies were even worth that in total. So this has been a massive, massive run for Microsoft, and this has an awful lot to do with, and people are going to laugh, but this is going to be my next poll. Bing is making a comeback. I know what everybody's knee-jerk reaction probably will be to that, but it's real. It's happening. The numbers are showing it, and they have intent to put the full weight of Microsoft behind that. And they're using the ChatGPT, so they're calling that AI, and it's integrated into their new search, and they're leaning into that big time, and they want to get some of that market share. Google obviously owns that market share right now, but Microsoft is on the move, and apparently people believe because they added $130 billion of value yesterday, which seems insane to me. So if we look at Amazon, they're another one. Are they going to have good earnings? So far, this earnings season's been pretty good. I mean, mostly good news. We'll look at what there's one of the big companies that's been not good. Another one that I've always felt was overpriced that's pulling back a little bit right now. But Amazon, I mean, they did get down to $81. At $110, I mean, this was once a $150, $160 stock. For an extended period of time, looks like it did get up into the 170s in 2020 and 2021. So it's been lower than that ever since. It's still closer to its lows than it is its highs. So, maybe, is this going to have a good earnings report? It's been going that way. And then we still have, usually all four of the big four all report in a 3-day period. I don't know why, for whatever, this week Apple is not reporting at the same time as Microsoft and Amazon and Google are the other ones. So everybody else did just fine or great. So Amazon is up today, but they're after hours today, no? Yeah, so after the close today, Amazon will report. Intel, expectations are low on that one, but we will get, obviously, this is the big gun. So you can see we had Microsoft and Alphabet, which is Google, report on the same day, Tuesday after the market closed. Yesterday, Facebook reported after the market closed, or Meta now. Today we have Amazon, but no Apple this week. We had Visa, we had MasterCard this morning. I mean, this was a big earnings week, and it seems like, the market's done pretty well, really, in my opinion. All right, let's check in. Let's check in on the poll. All right, I think we got kind of a decisive winner. I'm going to give it like 2 more minutes, and then we'll make a new poll. But right now, so just if you want to vote, obviously it's free to vote. Vote in the poll. We're looking at what does everybody think Bitcoin's high for the year is going to be in 2023. And we have something out in first, but it's not over. It's not over, so vote if you're interested. And smash the like button if you haven't. Spread the word. Help me spread the word. Help us spread the word. George is in the chat on and off today, but he's not here with us. He's at the beach. George, if you're still out there, you can say hello. I'm sure he's jumping in and out. He was here just a few minutes ago. Oh, very recently, because he said, "Go Braves." Darren said, Meta, great earnings yesterday. Amazon report after the bell today. Okay, so we're on the same page, Darren. I'm just looking at the same thing. So, yeah. So, the earnings have been very good, better than expected. And I think people were a little skeptical coming into this for the big companies. So, Amazon's the last one. And I'm going to go with the trend. I mean, so far, it's been so far so good. And I shouldn't say Amazon's the last big one. Amazon's the last big one this week. Next week, we still have Apple. So that's the biggest stock out of all of these companies. So Amazon is one of your $1 trillion plus companies. They're at $1 trillion. And remember, Microsoft was at about $2.2 trillion. And Apple, you can see, is at about $2.6 trillion. Those two companies are so much bigger than any other company has ever been. It's not even close. So they're vying. Apple's had first place for a little while now, but Microsoft's had it just as much or more over the last 15 years as Apple has. And, they've put distance between themselves and the rest of the field. There's only a few I think there's only 2 other stocks over $1 trillion, right? Amazon and Google are over $1 trillion. I don't believe there's another stock. There's one international stock that's over $1 trillion. and I don't think there's another stock anywhere else. So, you know, it's a big jump from $1 trillion, and you can see, like, Amazon's at 1.1 trillion. So, you know, Microsoft's double that. Amazon's like maybe the third or fourth biggest company in the US, and Microsoft at second is double that. So those two are kind of in a league of their own. And let's go to Google, because you know, they reported earnings, and they're $1.376 trillion company. So Google, you know, they're one of the big four. They're a force to be reckoned with, but I will tell you, Microsoft is significantly bigger than Google. Now, Google has owned the search space for so long that it just seems like there really aren't even any other options. But Microsoft, they want to integrate. They don't want to. They've done it. They've integrated the ChatGPT into their Bing search, and you know, even my first reaction when I say Bing is to kind of laugh at them, but they're gaining ground, and we'll see. They want to, you know, they want to be a competitor. I don't ever necessarily think they're gonna catch up to Google. You know, the discrepancy is so monumental, but you know, if they eat into their market share, 5%, 10%, whatever it is, that's big bucks. Thable, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, sorry. I believe the miners are correcting today, and we might see a higher weekly close tomorrow. Well, that would be nice. Let's just take a quick look. So we've had a little bit of momentum here. Right? This is on the 15 minutes, so this is some short-term stuff. But on the 4-hour, I mean, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 6th green 4-hour candle. That's not bad at all. Now, they're all engulfed by this one candle where the longs got decimated. So the longs got liquidated, and that caused a huge sell-off. And now we're just kind of creeping our way back up from there. But hey, listen, at least it held. You know, 28 kind of held. It went a little under, and 27 was holding prior to that. So we did a solid retest at 27. We really have not gone back to 25.2. I still can't rule that out, but I am hoping the longer we spend way far away from that, maybe we're not going to have to go make that retest, because from the high to the low, so the high was on April 14th, and the low was on April 24th. So in 10 days, this was down about 13%. So, you know, for Bitcoin to have a 13% pullback, that might count. That might get it done. You know, this would be more like 20. This would be almost 19. So maybe we bounce off of that 19 or 20%, but maybe this was the pullback. 10 or 12% pullbacks, those are common. So that sounds, you know, if that was in the S&P 500, that would be a very dramatic event. But in Bitcoin, that's just business as usual. So nothing to get concerned about. And on the 1 day, I mean, look at the candle wicks in both directions on this day. But this was the day yesterday where, you know, first all the shorts got liquidated and we ran up, and then all the longs got liquidated and we candle wick down. So you can see, you know, we ended up where we started, but man, that was a volatile day. And we did get over $30,000 yesterday. Now we got over $31,000 on April 14th. So that's why that's the lowest number in the poll, because we've already been there. So I'm going to call this the final results. 48,000 is the winner with 45%. So that was out in first by quite a bit, but 27% people think actually 30% of the people think we're going to be lower than that. 27% do think we're going to get up to 38,000. 3% of the voters think we've already reached our high for the year, 31,000, and that's it. And then 25%, so a quarter of the people think we're going to get 60,000 plus. So maybe take a run at or make a new all-time high this year. So the bigger numbers were winning, and 48,000 seemed to be didn't quite get a majority, but at one point it was over 50%. So that's the winner. So I think that's an optimistic poll. 70% of the people think we're going to be at 48,000 or higher at some point this year. That would be a nice run. I think most people would be happy with that. You never know. Could be more, could be less. All right, let's see. Oh, I read that. Sorry, I'm catching up in the chat. Austin, do you think Amazon earnings push us to 30K? I don't know that. I think it's important that Amazon earnings are not bad. So I think I don't think it's I don't know that good earnings are going to help, but I think bad earnings are going to kind of push everything down, because Amazon is still one of the market movers for sure. It's a $1 trillion plus company, and if they come in worse than expected, everything might move down a little bit. But the other thing we got to be keeping our eye on that's affecting this more than anything else is, where is it? First Republic is having a comeback today. Now, it's almost not even fair to call it a comeback. They're up 11%, but they are down. They were $171 stock, and they're back up to $6 today. That's in the last 52 weeks. So obviously they're on the brink. But 2 days in a row they were down. I think 49%, and then like 20 or 30% yesterday. So at least it seems like they're finding their footing, at least for one day. This, to me, would be a bigger deal. And this would be a catalyst. If this has another big drop-off, or, the next shoe to drop on this is bad news, and they're not going to be able to move forward. If these guys go under, I think that's another run-up for Bitcoin. So I'm not rooting for that. I'm just saying that would be the relationship there, in my opinion. First Republic Bank stock declines as investors await rescue deal, and now you can see that was 4 hours ago, but now it's kind of creeping up a little bit. But again, $6. This was well, let's even go back a little further. This was $13 or $14 for most of the year this year, and it's dropped substantially from there. And on the 1 year, I mean, this was a $168 stock, and it's not like it just got up there for a day. This was in the 150s and the 160s for months, and then over 100 up to 145 even in 2023. So forget the full year, just this calendar year they were at $145. They're at $6 now. So to me, this is the number one potential catalyst for Bitcoin to take a jump, is if this situation goes south or finishes going south, because obviously it's already in a bad place. Let's see. Tom is saying Mawson, stock ticker MIGI, heading for a 100-month club by June 1st. That's more than double the last published numbers. Oh, are you looking at 100 Bitcoin mined for Mawson? So, all right. By June 1st. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. They're another company that did a complete and utter total reorganization. So they're a healthier company after the reorganization, but it definitely was, they had to take 10 steps back. Now maybe they're taking a bunch of steps forward now, back in the right direction. That is happening to a lot of these companies. I would argue, Mawson, I think Stronghold's in a similar situation. They had to start from scratch, and their chairman of the board, I think I should go check. Somebody, I think, just bought $1 million of their stock yesterday. I'll double check that fact right now since I said it. So we're not calling that a fact yet. Fact checking ourselves in real time. Okay, trade alert. The chairman of Stronghold Digital Mining, Gregory Baird, just spent $1 million. Just spent $1 million worth of stock at a price of $1. Not only is that a big swing, but it increases their holding size by 33%. And when they say there, it's really his. It's an individual, which is definitely great to see. So, in fact, the recent purchase by Gregory was the biggest purchase of Stronghold Digital Mining shares made by an insider individual in the last 12 months, according to our records. So, you got the chairman buying their own stock, and their stock's already taken a bit of a. Let's go to their. Let's go to the chart. Their stock's already taken a nice run up. So from their low on January 4th, so most of these companies had their low, 4 or 5 days before that. They got a little lower on January 4th. So they're up 150% right now. So he bought $1 million of stock, after they just had a 150% run up. That's a nice vote of confidence. So that is good to see. And this is a small cap company. So buying $1 million of stock, let's just go check out the market cap here. That's a $50 million company. So, that's a sizable chunk. Jeff said 47 to 53,000, then 29 to 25,000, then the ultimate bull run. So that's Jeff's trajectory. A nice move to the upside, maybe even into the low to mid 50s, and then maybe go back down and retest 25. So that could be as much as a 50% pullback, and then bull run up to new all-time highs. I think a lot of people would agree with you, Jeff. I think that's a common, I don't want to say common, but I think that's one of the scenarios that's out there that people are looking at. I know this. The part of that makes sense is that represents a lot of volatility, and I think that's what's going on. We do, so far this whole year, we have been in an upward trend. But we've had our pullbacks, so, that we've had them, and that could happen. It will happen again by the end of the year, almost certainly. So just to check in, Bitfarms is picking up a little momentum. I am keeping an eye on Bitfarms, everybody. You guys know I've mentioned several times I did buy some Bitfarms options in... I have the August options, but I still do have some options that expire in May. So I did think Bitfarms was going to take a nice run up at some point sooner than later here. I'm still sticking to that. They're at $1.19. I think they're going to run up to $1.50, but we'll see. But today they're headed in the right direction. And today's it's turning into a little bit more of a green day. CleanSpark up 3%. Riot now up 4%. So that is a big change. Marathon's up 1.5%. So again, those are the big two by far. Cypher's getting close to break even. Iris is down 3.7. Argo Blockchain's down 3.4. And Any remains up. Any remains up 6.5%. So I guess that's still the leader on the day. And Any's been having, let's go to Any's chart because they're also... I think Any's popularity as far as our members and subscribers go has picked up. I know I've added Any, and I think several other people have mentioned that they have added some any this year. So from, you know, from their March 10th low, which was basically all the Bitcoin miners hit a local low on March 10th. So any's now up 77% since then. So it's been on a nice little run. It got up there. You know, all of these guys did the same thing. You know, about a week or a week and a half ago, we had a nice run up to Bitcoin 31,000. So they set a high there. It's getting back into that neighborhood. So Eric saying Mawson is silly cheap with restructuring. Admin, vote 38K. Would have picked 42K, but that wasn't a choice. Miners will begin fine in 38 to 42 area. Wolf will be great above 35K. Yeah, I mean, even here at 30-ish K, this is monumentally different than Bitcoin 17,000, 20,000. So, you know, they're not hitting home runs at 30,000, but everybody's cash flow positive basically at this point, which is critical, obviously, to their survival. And you're right, a lot of these at between 38 and 42,000, a lot of these companies will be very, very profitable. Gross profit, net income. So we're going to see some of these. And Wolf, I do agree, Edmund. Wolf ultimately is, I think they are targeting being the lowest cost per coin. They're not there yet, but now they've now got the nuclear portion of what they're doing up and running. And I think their cost per coin is going to continue to go down, and they're going to compete. There'll be 3 or 4 companies competing for the lowest cost per coin, and I think that TeraWolf will be one of them. If not the leader, they'll be one of the leaders. Samuel said, I mean, I don't care about using Bing or Chrome as long as it works and it's easy to use. Yeah, I mean, my hesitation has been, I don't want to download. You got to download the new version of Edge, I guess it's called, and you get the new Bing with ChatGPT 4. So I do have one computer that I don't use, so maybe I will test it on that, but I'm not messing with any of the computers that I record videos on or do live streams on, because the last thing I want to do is download the new version of that and have it mess up everything else that I do, which seems to always happen every time I download or upgrade, you know, update or upgrade or whatever the case may be. There's oftentimes that's a rockier road than you think it's going to be. So I did just put a link in the chat. If you're interested, you can become a member. We do have a lot of members now. Thank you to all the members that are currently on membership. We do a members-only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes. We have a members-only Discord that actually now has a fantastic conversation going. So that's doing very well, and I check in on that every single day. And we also have the members pick a company every week on the members only live stream for me to do a deep dive on. So there's a kind of a catalog of videos ready and waiting should you choose to join. And it does help support the channel. It's only $5 a month. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody right now that I see a lot of members currently on with us right now. So thank you very much for your support, and welcome to anybody who is interested in joining. George just said hi. Hello, George, if you're still listening. Okay, so Sour Melon Gaming, I'm glad you brought this up. This is something I wanted to talk about. Sour Melon Gaming said Greenidge just signed a hosting agreement for 8,400 rigs at Core Scientific facility. Core needs to stay away from hosting. I'm taking the other side of this conversation. Greenidge is another company that had to basically completely change their entire business model. And they, after all was said and done with, and they restructured their debt, they gave back a lot of their machines, they greatly reduced their exahash. They were going to end up with one 1 exahash worth of mining. Having said that, all those machines have been unplugged all year this year. So Greenidge, they don't put out monthly operational reports, but based on the information they've given, none of those machines have been plugged in at all this year. So their Bitcoin mining this year has been something, that resembles zero. So they've just made an arrangement to put the majority of them with Core Scientific and get them up and running. So for those of you who are in Greenidge or interested in Greenidge, I will just tell you, not financial advice, just my own personal opinion, that is very near the bottom of my list. It just is. So I at some point I may make a bottom 5 list. I don't like to be negative, but the ones that I have the lowest level of conviction in, and Greenidge would be on that list. So I wish them the best. I hope all these companies succeed, but that's not where I'm putting any of my money personally. You guys obviously need to make your own decision. But for those of you interested, they are going to go from having either next to no machines plugged in, if not no machines, to getting up to 1 exahash so that they can start mining some Bitcoin. So let's look at Jeff's asking about the DXY. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, it's basically flat on the day, but I'm going to pull up the... Well, let me get out of the 4-hour and go over here. So this is the 1-day time frame. This is basically the U.S. dollar, strength of the U.S. dollar versus other currencies. And this green line is actually a 20-year high. So I know everybody has been, starting funeral proceedings for the U.S. dollar, but I'd like to remind everybody it is basically at or around a 20-year high right now. Now, it did even blow way past that up to 114. So it's down at 101. The market... we had a run where it got under this 20-year high, and the market had a nice run. That was January of 2023. Now we seem to be trending downwards, and it would be nice. The dollar, it's no good for the United States, and it's really no good for the rest of the world when the dollar's too strong. So I know everybody's worried about the collapse of the dollar and the end of the dollar, et cetera, but the truth is right now, the stock market's problem is the dollar's too strong. So if it were to pull back to some more natural numbers, and I'll just zoom out a little bit to show you, this was in June of 2021, the DXY was at 89. We're at 101.5 right now. And that's not uncommon. It got down to 89 in 2018. It got way down to 79 back in 2014. So, you can see over a 20-year period, this bounced off of 103 was a 20-year line of resistance. It bounced off of it in 2016, almost bounced off of it again in 2020, in March of 2020. We all know what was going on there. And then this last year in 2022, it did not bounce off of it. It went right through it, and it ran way up. So we're in the process of getting healthier here, but yeah, anything, even if this were to drop another 10%, that might seem like, wow, that's devastating for the dollar, but it's kind of average, if not above average. Let's go to the 1 week. Yeah, I mean, here's 90. So over time, there's nothing unusual about getting down to 90 at all. So, and I'm not saying we're going down to 90, but it would be, every little bit helps. 100, 99, 98, all those things I think would help potentially create a run up in the stock market and in Bitcoin. So, you can see how the 1 week, we got some momentum going in the downward direction here. And we definitely, clearly, we peaked quite some time ago. This was September of 2022. So, hopefully this keeps moving in the right direction. Austin, we will reach new all-time highs this year. I believe Grayscale will win their lawsuit this fall. So that'll be an absolute game changer. So there's a lot of those types of events out there. We haven't seen any of them happen yet, but if Grayscale wins their lawsuit and they become, they can turn that into an ETF, ETF, EFT. Let's get those mixed up. One's one, one's the other. Anyway, that would be a massive, massive boost for Bitcoin. To me, that's one of the top 5 catalysts that could be out there. So I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be Grayscale that gets there first. But that is out there. It's a huge catalyst. I thought for sure that would happen in 2022. Whether it was Grayscale or somebody, but it did not. And now, we're a decent ways into 2023, and it hasn't happened yet either. So I don't know how long they can delay that, but I don't think they can delay it forever. Darren's saying, let's all buy Stronghold at the last minute to help them over $1. Oh, yeah, let's see. Well, I think they had to reset their calendar or their clock. Oh, they're sitting right at $1 right now. But this could be day one. Yeah, yesterday they closed at 98 cents. So this would be day one. So they got to do 10 days. And they had, didn't they have some days? Oh, this was, nah. Are they even out of compliance? I mean, they were, oh, sorry. I'm on the weekly. I'm like, wow, this doesn't make any sense at all because I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, so yeah, they had a couple of days going here, and then they fell under. So they're about to reset the clock. But I do think they're going to get 10 days in a row. They're at exactly $1.000 right now. I'm not worried about them. I think they're going to get their 10 days in a row. Bitfarms just got their 10 days in a row. A day before that, TeraWulf just got their 10 days in a row over $1, and they're at $1.70. So that's how these things can move. And I'm not expecting Bitfarms to do quite that much, but I am expecting the same type of run up now that they've gotten their 10 days. So I'm not saying $1.70, but $1.45, $1.50. Now Bitfarms is now up 6% on the day, so that has been creeping up all day. We're mostly in the green now. So if I go back to the Bitcoin chart, on the 15-minute time frame, we've got a lot of green candles in a row. We've got some momentum going. We're near our highs on the day. This candle was during the trading day, was open during this candle. So we're not back to the high during the trading day, but we're getting there. And you can see we're back right to this high here. So if we can just break out of this, maybe run up to 30. We got a couple hours left in the trading day. So we'll see what happens. His Honor said any January 25 call options are still a bargain. Very little volume, however. So, yeah, especially it's the smaller the stock and the further out you go, the harder it is to get some volume there. But, if you're buying a January 25 call, you probably don't care if there's volume for the next 6 months or even year. Let's see. Marapool count for April as of an hour ago was 579. Should be way over 600 in my opinion. Only 3 days left. Yeah, I mean, do they have stuff in other pools? We talked about this last month. Or is everything that they mine in their mining pool now? Because there was a time where they had stuff in other pools. And if all they do is mine 600 Bitcoin in April, that's going to be a big letdown. So we will see. Let's go to the difficulty rate. Do I have that? Yes. So, I mean, if you look at April, there were two on April 6th and April 20th. The difficulty level went up 2%, 2.2% and 1.7%. So, yes, things got a little bit harder in April, but nothing dramatic. This was a big move on March 23rd. So that was a 7.5% increase. So, these start to build on each other. But I do not think there should have been a drastic drop-off for any of these Bitcoin miners. I would expect them to be competitive with their March numbers in April. And if they're all coming in way below, we're going to have to try and make some sense out of that. That's so far, it seems like what everybody's saying is they're expecting, especially the big three, and by Bitcoin mined per month, Core Scientific notwithstanding, because they're in Chapter 11, the big three are Marathon, Riot, and CleanSpark. All, they will finish 1, 2, and 3 in some order for the next little while now. It's going to be a while before somebody jumps into that group at that level. But I believe Marathon did 825 Bitcoin last month. So, if they're only at 600 or 630 this month, that's a drastic move backward. So that cannot be explained by the increase in the difficulty level. Tom said, Eric, you're right about Mawson. It's time for a deep dive. All right. We got deep dive requests for Mawson. I have not done one in a little while, and they had not, they put out their own, it looks like a news report once a month, but it's really their own press release, and there hasn't been much going on, but that's not, over the last 45 days, they've had some stuff going on, so I hear you. It sounds like there's some people interested in a deep dive on Mawson. A lot going on there. This is still Tom saying a lot going on there with the new production in Penn with very cheap power. They should be mining over 100 coins a month. Yeah, I mean, if they're back over 100 coins a month, that's definitely worth taking a look at. Mert is saying Bitfarms is looking strong, Tom. Bitfarms, yes, is holding up 5. It's been up 5 or 6%. If it could just keep chugging along, we'll see. Obviously, we got to have Bitcoin do its thing. So the number one thing I'm most interested in is closing our daily candle today above this 28.8. You can see we've been there for a long time, but this is only on the 15-minute scale. So, on the 4-hour time frame, this closed above 28.8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now our 5th 4-hour candle. So we're about coming up on 20 hours into holding this line, and we're pulling away from it a little bit. So hopefully we are at 29,355. That's very near the high on the day. The high on the day was 29,444. So momentum seems to be going in the right direction. The Bitcoin mining board is getting very close to all green now. And when this stream started, it was, almost half red. Nothing too terrible, but there was plenty of red on it, and the red is evaporating. TerraWolf is now up 6%. So I think they've actually been the leader all day today. MicroStrategy, which I think is below the line where you guys can't see, is up 4.65%. So that's a strong move from them today. Any's up 4.5%. They've been strong all day. Riot's up almost 4%. They were in the red at one point. Now they're up almost 4%. That's a big move. Marathon's getting close to up 2%. They were also in the red earlier. So, it seems like we're doing okay. I think, this was we had a good run during this stream, I believe. Ricky said, having anyone on the channel soon, Tom? ? I have not scheduled an interview in a while, and I'm waiting to see what's going on out there in YouTube land, in Bitcoin land. It seems like, viewers are down, I think, for everybody. My viewing is way down, and I hate to bring somebody on and do an interview and have, the views flop on that. I don't think it's fair to them, but I do. Regardless of that, I am going to get Paul Prager on, and we are going to have CleanSpark on. Those are my next two. I have not set firm dates. I was hoping things would return a little more to normal. I mean, Bitcoin's doing okay. I'm not sure why the lack of interest. And after looking at Google's earnings report, I'm not sure why everyone on YouTube's revenue is going down so much. So I don't know. what's going on there, because their revenue seemed okay. Anyway, that was the long answer to we're looking for Paul Prager from TerraWolf, and we're looking for Matt and/or Zach from CleanSpark. Those are the only two I'm interested in until I go to the Bitcoin mining conference, which is less than a month away. So I'm hoping to meet some people there and then set up some appointments while I am there. So that's the plan for now. In the meantime, what I really think we need is to break out of, even we got up to 31, and now we've been kind of sideways for a while. We did not retest 25, so it seems like, interest is waning. But I do think they might miss the boat. I feel like there's still a lot of this run left. I've been saying all along this whole year, since the beginning of the year, I have remained bullish on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. And, we check this every day, but I'll zoom out. We're from this bottom on November 21st. We're up 90%. So we did get, the problem is we ran up, we were over 100%. We got to about 101% run. So Bitcoin more than doubled from November 21st to April 14th. We had a little pullback. Now we got to see, are we taking another run? But we can't even say we're on another run until we get past this 31,000 again. So we need to hold above 28.8, and then we need to close above 30, and then we need to close above 31. Then we'll be back above, if we have a daily close above that 100% increase in Bitcoin, that I think can take that next leg up to what I'm hoping is like 35,000. I have a very small line at 33, but I'm looking at 35,000. So that's what I'm hoping for. We will see. Again, even if we take a look at so this is one day. I'll just look at this while we're here. You can see we've kind of, in my opinion, we've reset the RSI. We don't always need to go down. Back on March 10th, and Bitcoin had a big pullback, the daily RSI reset all the way to oversold territory. But plenty of times you will see the daily RSI, I count a reset. If it gets between 40 and 45, a lot of times it will turn around. We've gotten back above 50, and I always say good things happen for Bitcoin above 50 on the daily RSI. So usually when we cross this 50 mark, if we can take a run back up to 70 or 75, you can see at one point we did get all the way up to 88 on the daily. That was in January of 2023. So there's lots of room to the upside for us to run. The problem is, none of these technicals have confirmed. So this is another day. We talked about this yesterday. So here's another even smaller candle on the histogram for the MACD, getting closer and closer to a bullish crossover, but it hasn't happened. So, you can't say, oh, the momentum's up. We have a bullish crossover. It's confirmed. Next moves to the upside. Everything looks like it's trending in that direction. But sometimes, as you guys know, sometimes these are a fake out. So until we see that, so one of these to me is a signal. We've crossed above 50. So that's bullish to me, but we have not done, the MACD hasn't done what it needs to do on the daily. So again, and that's a super short-term analysis, so anything can happen on any given day or week, but I'm still my point of all this is I'm still very bullish. If I do my arrow that I always do, it's really still the same arrow from the low in late November until now. That's an arrow. That's a very healthy, bullish trend. Yes, we've had a couple of pullbacks. We had a pullback. This was a pretty decent pullback. We just had, really, from here, a pretty decent pullback. So this has been a healthy run, a healthy bull run in my mind. And you can't, this is not a relief rally. Bitcoin doubled. So, that's relief rally is gone. This is, for me, this is a bull market. let's see. Jeff saying Cleanspark interview. So I know, and I've been, it's really my fault. I went to set an interview up with them over a month ago, and I just never followed through. Actually, you know, I had over almost 2 months ago now, but I had some stuff going on, a death in the family, that kind of stuff. Got sidetracked. So I will get back around to that. And those are my two that I'm going to do. I'm going to do Wolf, even though there's not a lot of interest in Wolf in the overall market. It seems like our members have a lot of interest in TerraWolf and Cleanspark. So those will be the two interviews that I'm going to do. Have you ever interviewed anyone from Any? I have not. They do have a new, I'm still calling it a new CEO, but she's been the CEO for a little while there now. I like what they're doing. I'm actually bought shares of their stock in 2023. George has tweeted back and forth with her in the past, but we have never had her on the channel. If people are interested, let me know. That is also a very, very, very small company. So the general population, you know, I know our crowd here, we are the Bitcoin miner in the know people. So those are of interest, but the general population, you know, there's almost no interest in Any out there in the general population. Having said that, you know, not financial advice, but I have been dollar cost averaging into their stock. I like, and that is Sphere 3D, stock ticker Any, ANY. So I like what they're doing. They're having a nice day today, up 6%. Bitfarms is up almost 6%. Wolf is up 6%. So those are some of the stocks that we've been really focused on this channel in 2023. So they're all having good days today. I think they're all having nice runs so far in 2023, as are most of the Bitcoin miners. It just, you know, it varies. I will update. So today's Thursday. So Saturday, I will get, you know, what all the Bitcoin miners did this week, what they, you know, the movements on the week, also movements year to date, all that kind of stuff. For those of you who don't know, I put out a video every weekend updating all of those charts. Jeff said, Tom, are you going to make a reaction video discussing the CNBC stock draft they are doing today? What time is that going to be at, Jeff? I'll have to record that. I imagine they'll post it in a video as well. No, I'm oblivious to that. That's how much I watch CNBC now. I have no time to watch CNBC. There are a few YouTubers I try to watch on a semi-regular basis, but I have had to reduce that list over time as well. So I'm just mostly in research mode all day, every day. Sour Mountain Gaming said, it'd be a very bad financial situation and probably divorced if I did not ever find this channel. Everyone needs to become a member. Tom's a boss. Well, thank you very much, Sour Melon Gaming. That is a very nice endorsement. I appreciate you being a member, and I'm very glad that you're not getting divorced. That is good news, and it sounds like a lot of people, a lot of our members, a lot of our subscribers, and everybody who's been patient in the Bitcoin mining sector and Bitcoin itself. You know, this has been a little bit of payoff in 2023, but this should be just the beginning. I mean, remember, we're still, and it's been nice runs up. So those who dollar cost averaged in all the while, a lot of people on our channel are already up. So even though these stocks are still way, way down, there's a lot of individuals that are members that are now up. So that's very encouraging. So congratulations to everybody who's been doing well. Trading or holding or dollar cost averaging in, doing your thing with your options. John said, I think this small bull run will continue to mid-2023, possibly until July of 2023. Oh, Jeff said it's on right now. Well, I'm going to have to catch a video of it later. who was their overall first draft. I can't even imagine what they're doing. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to disagree with most of it, but that'd be interesting to watch. And I've never done a reaction video of any kind to anything. So I'll check it out. I'll check it out. I've had some things I've been very tempted to do a reaction video to, but I've just stayed away from it. But that one makes a lot of sense. I mean, if they're doing something, it sounds like they're trying to do something fun, so we can jump in on that. Darren said, Bitcoin new all-time high this year is nearly impossible. That would be 9 months faster off the bottom than it ever has. September 2024 is its normal new all-time high, expected measuring from the bottom. So if it follows its previous patterns, you know, we may not be due for an all-time high this year. I will tell you, I don't think that's out of the question. I'm not predicting that, but I don't think it's out of the question. So we did not have the same level, you know, and each time, because the overall market cap is so much larger, the percent that we run up is less and less and less. But that does give a better chance of, you know, getting back to that all-time high faster. But it's true, if we follow the exact same pattern, you know, then that would not be this year. But I'm not ruling it out. Jeff said they have a bunch of random people picking stocks in the format of the NFL draft. So sounds like all stocks are available. John said, when Kramer says buy, you sell. Bernoulli agrees with Darren that highly unlikely to reach our all-time high this year. John also agrees. Nvidia went 1, Amazon went 2. Interesting. So nobody's getting too adventurous. Those are some pretty safe bets. We just looked at Amazon, and whoever picked that, they're picking it on the day of earnings. So if that goes the wrong way, that could be, you know, that could go either way. Jeff said it might be good for clicks. Hey, you know what? I'll try it out and see if people like reaction videos. I like watching reaction. It depends on the reaction video. You know, I don't, if it's a boring little, you know, bickering between two people, that's one thing. But, you know, this sounds like something fun. So, you know, maybe we could have an interactive reaction on that one. Pobrain said, Tom, any update on HUT 8? So they did put out a press release and with a new, they did file it with the SEC, which they have to. Their new targeted hash rate post-merger, if the merger happens, is 7.2 exahash. So they did do that update. They said things are going well, everything's progressing fine, but, you know, this is yet to be voted on or approved in any way, shape, or form. So, but I think they wanted to let, you know, the company they're merging with has added some exahash. So they did put out a press release, I think it was yesterday, letting everybody know that, yeah, now their new target is, and I think somebody corrected me earlier, 7.02 exahash, not 7.2. So I think that's 7.02 exahash is their new target. His Honor said, I'm still waiting for your video on options. Fair comment. I need to get that out. And I think I'm going to do a bunch of those, but I'll start at the top and maybe do a series. Because I think, you know, there's so much to talk about in the world of options, but I think you got to start at the beginning. John said, I think a Bitcoin all-time high will be in 2025 with 100K. Bitcoin rules. Hi, Tom. Would love a show on big digital asset. That's BIGG, right? I gotta get. I know you've asked me that before, so I'm just writing myself a reminder. Got a couple reminders to do here. BIGG. We need this options video. That kind of fell off my radar. We talked about that a while ago, and then it didn't get done. So, and then a potential reaction video to that CNBC, right? CNBC draft. Getting a bunch of ideas today. Thanks, everybody, for your thoughts and ideas and comments on potential videos. Bitcoin rules. I have member chat finally. Congratulations. I think I saw you in there saying, is this it? Am I here? I'm finally here. So welcome. Congratulations. And thanks for being a member. And welcome to the... I think you're talking about the Discord. Did you get over to the Discord? Gary is saying CNBC, if same as past years, they have about 40 stocks they can choose from. So can't choose any stock, just choose among the 40 given until they're all taken. Okay. All right, that makes more sense than just being able to, well, I don't know. Because people could go out on a limb and take some risks if they were allowed to pick anything they wanted, which is definitely what I would do if I was playing that game. If you want to win. So if they've restricted you to those 40, they're probably all the, you know, blue chip stocks, large cap, ultra large cap. But that sounds interesting. It sounds worth a watch. I never watch CNBC anymore. I don't even watch their clips on YouTube anymore because I just haven't found any good information from them in a long time. That's just my personal opinion. So some of you guys might love that channel, and if you do, there were years, 10, 15 years ago, I was obsessed with that channel. But I really feel like I get more information on YouTube if you find the right YouTubers, and it's all, I always say try and find, multiple YouTubers and do your own due diligence. It doesn't matter what me or anybody else says. You got to make your own trades and know your own trades and believe in your own trades. But I find a lot more useful information on YouTube than I do on CNBC. That's just my personal opinion. Samuel said, how do you evaluate an option, as in how do you decide if a specific option is cheap, expensive, or fair, especially leaps, calls to buy? So you can see, you can calculate, and usually it'll give it to you, what the premium is, and, you've got to, all of that is in connection with, so a lot of these are very high premium. I will tell you, Marathon and Riot, their options have very high premiums on them. So they're pricing in a lot of volatility. Sometimes I would say Bitfarms is at the other extreme. A lot of Bitfarms options price in like no volatility. So if you think there's going to be a move, then you can buy one. If you think there's not going to be a move, you can always sell a call and take the other side of the trade. So there's both sides of the trade. You can buy calls, you can sell calls, you can buy puts, you can sell puts. All those things have very different levels of risk involved with them. So that's why I do want to do a more comprehensive, when I make off-the-cuff comments, sometimes, I don't want to mislead anybody or, or tell half a story. Because there's a big difference between puts and calls. There's a big difference between buying and selling. So, and some of those are ultra high risk. Samuel's saying, could include that in your options video. So I definitely will. MinerDoc CNBS. Jeff. Yeah, and I used to do that too. CNBC is background noise to me. That's what I used to do. I would have it on all day in the background, but it got to the point where it was more noise than it was anything else. By the way, Bitfarms now at $1.21, up 6.64%. I'm watching every penny with Bitfarms. I know. Sorry. And almost, you know, we're getting to the point where almost the entire board is green. So this was, as far as the Bitcoin miners go and Bitcoin go, this was a very productive live stream. Not that we necessarily had anything to do with it, but hey, we'll take credit. We're on a trend. The Bitcoin tends to be rolling during our live streams. So that's been a good trend. So tomorrow we have our regularly scheduled. So I've yet to nail down a schedule on live streams. The two things that we know we always do, there is a members only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes. And then there's a live stream for everybody every Friday after the market closes. I've been doing other live streams past that. So we did one yesterday. We did one today. You know, I'm not going to do an extra live stream tomorrow. We already have our regularly scheduled live stream tomorrow. So I appreciate all the members. We did get one super chat before the live stream even began. So thanks again for the super chat. We got no new members today. So remember, if you want to support the channel, you can become a member. It's only $5 a month, and it does make a difference because other than that, you know, I want to do this. I've been doing this full time for a long time now, but I will tell you, I mean, I make or lose my money in trading, but I make nothing on this channel. So, you know, do what you want to do, but I do appreciate your support and there's a lot of people that have signed up to the membership. So I really, really want to say thank you to all the members for signing up and supporting the channel. Sour Melon Gaming said 24/7 stream. Yeah, we should do a marathon. We can't do 24/7, and I think nobody wants to watch that. But I would like to do like a marathon stream one day, and that's confusing because there's a Bitcoin miner called Marathon. But I mean like a long stream, like do some kind of subscriber drive, because I want to up the subscribers as well. We're at about 13,500 subscribers on the channel. I appreciate every one of them. That still makes us a very, very small channel, all things considered. So maybe I'll do a long live stream that's a drive for, you know, every hour that we get 10 new subscribers, we can do another hour or something. I don't know. You guys can maybe make some recommendations. By the way, Bitcoin's kind of pumping as we speak. We're at 29,478, very close to the high on the day. Let's see if in the next 2-3 minutes we can take out the high on the day. That would be nice. Bitfarms just ticked over 7% up on the day. TeraWolf is up 7.5% on the day. So those two seem to have run out in the lead, but Riot's up 5% on the day. And remember, by market cap, Riot is much, much multiples bigger than those other companies. So when they go up 5%, that's a big move. And the second biggest market cap is Marathon, and they're now up 3.33%. So that's a very strong move to the upside. This has turned into a green day. We are just teetering on the brink of hitting the high of the day. I'm just going to hang out for a minute and see if we get there. I think we literally just got there as we speak. Where did we have to get? 29,573. And we just got 29,572. We were $1 under the high for the day, and now we're pulling back just a little bit, but holding on at 29.5, that would be nice. This is moving in the right direction. This is turning into a nice day. Let's hope this can hold. And remember, this is all from a big sell-off yesterday, so we're up from yesterday's close. We're up almost 5.7%. So we're pushing 6% to the upside. Some of these Bitcoin miners will start to run if we can get a rally here. There's still an hour and a half left. Long form stream and we eat sandwiches. Yeah, we'll have to eat some food. Having marathon stream is the best. You mean what during the at or near the halving? CleanSpark needs to pump, said Jeff. Yeah, it's up 3% today. It keeps chugging along, but it was up a bit. CleanSpark was up over $5, 2 weeks ago. So it's got a long way to go just to get back to where it was 2 weeks ago. Scott Richardson said, "Yo, Tom, Wolf, Wolf, Wolf." And Wolf is having another monster day, up 7.23%, which on my chart at the moment makes it the leader on the day. So another good day for Wolf. So those have been some of the ones we've really been popular on our channel in 2023. My two new positions in 2023 are Wolf and Any. So today they're up 7.23%. Any's up 5.61%. I did buy a bunch of options in Bitfarms. They're up 7% today. So I am personally feeling like this day is going okay for me. Riot is my biggest position out of all of them. It's up 5%. So some days are better than others. Today, it's falling in my direction, but I will tell you there's other days where, they're nice green days, but my big positions stay stagnant. I know all of you have had familiar experiences. Some days are better than others. But in general, I'm guessing most of you are having a decent day today. I don't know if anybody's in Argo Blockchain. Let me know in the chat if any of you are in Argo Blockchain. That is down 4.86%. That is my lowest conviction out of all the Bitcoin miners. So I can tell you, if I do a bottom five, two of them are going to be Argo Blockchain and Gree. So not financial advice. If you guys like those companies for your own reasons and you've done your own due diligence, I'm just saying for me, those are two I'm staying away from. A marathon stream the day of the halving is a great idea. Yeah, I mean, we're a ways out from that, but I would definitely be up for that. It'd be fascinating to watch Bitcoin on that day. Edmund said, "Tom, your live stream is good for our miners." I know it's been working out that way lately, Edmund, so we credit to all of us. We're sending out good vibes to Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners during the live stream, and we're just dollars away from the high for the day. So I'm stalling to see if we can just get there, but I am going to wrap it up in a minute. His Honor said Bitcoin is at the high, so maybe we did get over the high just a few minutes ago. Yes, 29,581. That did get a few dollars over the high. So that was a few minutes ago. That's in this 15-minute candle. So you can see we took out the high from earlier this morning, and that takes out the high since we closed yesterday as well. And we're there right now. 29,586. Let's go. Let's get to 29,600. 29,600. Bitcoin Rules says CNBC is a waste of time. You're the right YouTuber. Thank you, Bitcoin Rules. I appreciate it. Darren, talking investing stream from Vegas for the halving. Sounds dangerous, but that could be a good move. Maybe talking investing party. Anybody, that's a year away, so we'll see what happens. Bitcoin's popping. Yes, we are now clear breakout. High of the day, 29,728 and moving. Let's see if we can get to $30,000. So this is turning into a very good day. Bitfarms is now up just under 8%. Wolf's up 7.5%. But it's a green board now. So for those of you who have, this morning maybe the board didn't look so good, this is a much improved board. Marathon's up 4.76%. CleanSpark's up over 4%. HUT's up over 4%. BitDigital's up over 4%. So a lot of big movers. The only thing that's really lagging, Argo Blockchain seems to be going in the wrong direction. It's getting more red, so I don't know what's going on there. And then Iris Energy is just a little bit in the red. We'll see. That could get to the green by the end of the day. Cypher is a little bit in the red, but it's getting very close. Stronghold, same thing. So we'll see. But this board changed from a lot of these changed from red to green, and not by little. By the way, Marathon was red when this stream started, and now it's up 4.5%. So that's a huge move to the upside. So things are looking good. I'm going to leave you guys on a positive note. Thank you, everybody, for joining on the live stream. We got 84 likes, so we didn't get there, but that's all right. Thank you for those of you who liked the channel. Thanks again to all the members for supporting the channel. For those of you who are not yet members, I encourage you. It's $5 a month. If you're interested, all you have to do is hit the join button on the YouTube page. It's right next to the subscribe button. And again, thanks to all the existing members. Much appreciated. You guys keep me doing this, and I love days like today. This was another. We've got a couple days in a row where we really had nice moves to the upside on Bitcoin and the miners during the live stream. So it's a pleasure sharing it with you guys. Everybody have a great day, and there will be, of course, tomorrow's live stream every week, Friday after the market closes. So hopefully I will see all of you guys then. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.